When you look at an orchid, when you really look at one, have you ever noticed something? Well, it turns out they're hiding this incredible secret. It's kind of like a tiny magic trick that happens right before they open up. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain.
Okay, get ready, because after this, you are never going to look at an orchid the same way again. Seriously, that beautiful flower you see, it didn't start out facing that way. Just before it bloomed, pretty much every single orchid out there did this amazing 180-degree flip. So how on earth does that even happen? Well, it's actually this really neat three-step dance. First, the bud forms, and that special petal, the lip, it's pointing up. Then the stalk itself does a full 180-degree twist, and boom, finally, the flower opens, but now that lip is facing down. Let's really dig into that.
All right, let's start with the twist. This isn't just some random weird thing a few flowers do. Nope. This hidden transformation is absolutely fundamental. It's part of the very definition of what makes an orchid an orchid.
And I want to be super clear here. We're not talking about a few oddball species. This 180-degree twist, it's a core evolutionary strategy. In fact, it's one of the biggest reasons that orchids are one of the most successful and widespread plant families on the entire planet.
Okay, so the big question is, how does a plant literally turn its own flower completely upside down? For a long time, people were so baffled they just called it gravitational magic. But the real story is, well, it's way cooler. It's all about some really sophisticated biology. Let's decode it.
So there's a fancy scientific name for this, of course. It's called resupination, and that comes straight from Latin, meaning, you guessed it, to turn upside down. It's basically a pre-programmed rotation of the flower stalk that kicks in just before the big reveal.
But how does it do it? It's not like a sudden snap or a hinge. No, it's this slow, deliberate twist. And it's caused by something called differential growth. Think about it this way. The cells on one side of the stalk just start growing faster than the cells on the other side. And that difference in speed is what forces the whole thing to rotate. Pretty clever, right? All right, so let's circle back to that whole gravitational magic idea. Is gravity pulling the flower down? Turns out, not really. It's pretty much a myth. Scientists figured out that this twist is actually built into the orchid's genes. It's an internal program. They've even done experiments where they try to cancel out gravity, and guess what? The orchid still does the flip. The real heroes here are plant hormones, which are telling the cells what to do. Gravity isn't the main driver at all. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But now for the biggest question of all. Why? Why go through all this trouble just to bloom upside down? This is the real aha moment. This is where you see the absolute genius of evolution at work. It really all boils down to one thing: rolling out the red carpet for pollinators. So that special petal, the lip or labellum, if it didn't twist, it would point straight up. Imagine a bee trying to land on that. It'd be super awkward. But with the twist, that lip points down, creating the perfect stable landing platform. It's like a little runway, guiding insects exactly where the orchid wants them to go.
And that's really the whole ballgame. This entire, complex, elaborate process has one beautiful, simple goal: make the perfect landing strip. It's just a masterpiece of natural engineering when you think about it.
You know what this is? It's a textbook example of something called co-evolution. It's this beautiful, synchronized dance. The orchid evolves, its pollinator evolves with it. They're in this partnership together, and they've been perfecting their moves for millions and millions of years.
Okay, but just when you think you've got it all figured out, nature loves to throw a curveball, right? Turns out, not all orchids do the twist. And these exceptions are so cool because they actually help prove why the rule is so important in the first place.
So you're probably wondering, how do these non-twisters pull it off? Well, they've all found these clever little workarounds. Some of them just droop their flowers, so that top lip becomes the bottom. Easy. Others have evolved to curve their pollen parts downward. And some just attract totally different pollinators that are happy to come in from above. It just goes to show, evolution isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. There's always more than one way to solve a problem.
All right, so let's zoom out and wrap this up. Why does any of this matter? It's a cool trick, but what's the big deal? Well, this little twist actually has huge implications, from the orchid on your windowsill all the way to global conservation efforts.
Okay, think about it. For people who grow orchids, understanding this twist is how they get those perfectly symmetrical, beautiful flowers for shows. For conservationists, though, it highlights a major vulnerability. If an orchid's special pollinator disappears, that amazing landing pad becomes totally useless.
And for scientists, it's a perfect little model for studying how genetics, hormones, and the environment all work together to shape a living thing.
So in the end, that 180-degree twist, it's so much more than just a quirky little detail, isn't it? It's really the key that unlocks this huge, profound story about adaptation, about survival, and about those incredible partnerships that hold our entire world together.
And that just leaves me with one final question for you. This whole incredible twist was hiding in plain sight the entire time. It really makes you wonder, right? What other amazing invisible secrets are unfolding in nature, right in front of our eyes, just waiting for us to stop and really look?